Good evening. Yes, it's me coming in at a strange time. I've never made a YouTube live at nighttime, and I'm here alone today, not with my sidekick Christine, my friend who normally co-hosts with me on a Monday afternoon. She's been busy. We'll be back next Monday. But I was going to skip today, but then I thought that there's something that caught my attention. I heard this whole thing about a guy from South Africa called Thabo. He is a mastermind scammer. And I thought to myself, whoa, he is bright. Why didn't he use that ability to do something else? So I decided to do some research and I went down a rabbit hole reading about this guy. I got something out of it. I know that there are YouTubers who cover crime and who would do the whole 9 yards about the crime part. The part of it that struck me more than the fact that he was able to pull off all this crime undetected or with the assistance that he got. And he was so smart about how he was doing it. I mean, he was really smart. You have to give him that, okay? A pity he can use his abilities for something more positive. It was this connection to the Dr. Nandi, I can't remember how to pronounce her whole name, Dr. Nandi, a beautiful young doctor who was in demand because she's doing a lot of what a lot of women are paying money for, like the Botox and the enhancement surgeries and stuff. We all know that if you real, there's a lot of money in that. So she's in that, has been in that field. She was very attractive. The pictures are very attractive. And she was married, so she had a husband and two daughters. And her involvement kind of really got my attention. Because this man was able to pull off some stuff that was unreal. Of course, it was later discovered that he had a lot of assistants, right? Like people on the inside of the prison that he was sent to, and of course, this doctor and her father. So he started off his life pretty much of crime, sad to say, maybe about the age of 4 or 5, when he began stealing from money from his neighbors. And his mom knew about it. And of course, he came into this world. I mean, I believe that nobody's here by accident. And I don't believe there are any illegitimate children, that God knew all of us before we were formed in our mother's womb. But how she got conceived was really, a pity, how it happened to her. Allegedly, she was hired by someone close to her. She became pregnant. And then she delivered this baby boy. And that doesn't mean that's the reason why he turned out that way. I think he just probably had a negative seed somewhere implanted in his brain. Don't know what it is, but he did, right? And from that early age, he began stealing from neighbors. And from what I read, he spent some time in the juvenile detention. When he came out, he upped his skill set. He didn't learn from that. And his skill set went into like robberies. And from the robberies, he went into scamming women on social media, on Facebook and different things. Which brings me to the point of all of these young women who don't want, I'm not saying the modeling is bad. I modeled a bit in my youth as well, right? But we need to be careful how hungry we are for these things, these superficial things in life, like modeling and being an influencer and these different things. They got scammed because he set up his social media in a way where he was calling people from a model agency. He was an agent. And apparently, he was meeting, not apparently, allegedly, allegedly, he was meeting some of them in some places, hiring them, molesting them, doing what he had to do to them, taking away their money and their laptops and different things, and I don't know why those who it happened to didn't speak up. I guess they were afraid or ashamed that it was scammed, and it kept going for a while. So he was making money off of vulnerable women who just felt and thought that being an influencer or supermodel in this world is the only thing that they can do, because that's what's being fed to women on social media all the time. It's being fed on a daily basis, and if you talk against it, it's somehow odd. and you're anti whatever it is, and maybe you have a phobia about something, and all kinds of different things. Because nobody's allowed to have their own opinion anymore. Only some people. So I digress. So he did that for a number of years. And then, of course, whatever's in the dark comes to light. Thabo got arrested and he was sent to prison. Because I think somewhere in the middle of all of that, somebody ended up not alive. And he declared that he wasn't really I could say murderer. He wasn't really a killer or murderer. The person just happened to die. And if he knew the person was going to not be alive, he could have done things in a way where his DNA would never have been found and he would not have been caught and because he knew what to do and blah 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 and a whole long 9 years. That was one of the interviews he had with the police that was shown on this particular network. So I listened to him and I said, like, wow. So somebody died as a result of something that you did, right? But I think it involved a knife. So he did something, right? It was a deliberate thing. And then he didn't expect the person to pass away. And because she passed away, he didn't consider himself to be a murderer because he didn't think she was going to die. So he didn't really kill anybody. I'm spelling words because I'm not sure if I should use this word. I don't want to get booted off of my, already very micro YouTube channel. So this is what happened to him. So he ended up in prison, and somewhere in the whole matrix of things, he got in touch with his doctor, who, as I said at the beginning, from all appearances was very successful. She had a thriving practice. She was young, she was beautiful, she was married, she had a family, lived in a mansion, drove a nice car, all 9 yards. And somehow they got in touch with each other and she began sharing letters with him. So I'm sure social media has something to do with that. I'm sure she was one of those who's probably going down a rabbit hole looking at all of these different posts and he was probably scamming from inside the prison. But it was said that he was in South Africa's largest prison, right? So he was in there for like a number of years. And then one day, like a story, one day he got removed from his cell and put into solitary confinement for no reason at all. And everybody was surprised because he was always kept at a place where he could be seen, right? And he was put there in solitary confinement, away from the sight, from the view of I guess the cameras and everybody else. People thought it was strange, but I guess nobody asked a question. It turned out that it was allegedly those people in there who were on his side because of money. Again, Hebrews, the love of money, root of all evil, yes. And he was put in there. And then somewhere in the wee hours of the morning was discovered a burnt corpse was found in that cell with a burning mattress because I think they were lit by smoke on top of the corpse. So of course he was rushed to the hospital, pronounced dead because he was burnt, and investigations started. Who did this to this guy? How was he unalived, right? It turned out that in the end, his mother went to the doctor went to the where do they have them in the mortuary and claimed his body, and she said she was his wife, and she claimed the body, and then shortly after the mother came and she said, "Well, I know my son was no good, but at least he's passed away. I would like to give him a decent funeral and at least know where he is." So she asked the body. So some confusion ensued between there, and the body was returned to the mortuary, and the mother got the body. When she got the body, I think she felt that something was wrong. Besides, even though he was burnt beyond recognition, there's something wrong with the thing. Because this person was just like 4'6", and this man was about 5'8". She thought it looked small. I guess something made her feel that I wasn't her son. So they did the DNA test on the corpse and on the mother, and turned out that it was not her son. So they're in a tizzy now, looking all over the place, trying to figure out who got murdered inside of this prison. Well, guess what? It turned out, allegedly, that this doctor and her father seemed to have been allegedly harvesting organs. So they were buying corpses from, I guess, the hospitals, the funeral homes, wherever corpses are kept in that country, and they were harvesting organs. That's where the money was coming from. So that he was able to be, he was able to come, he was able to, while he was in, oh, I skipped a part, while he was in prison, he was able to form big multi-million-dollar companies with have all kinds of employees, have all kinds of celebrities following him on social media. And he was able to do Zoom calls into big meetings and that kind of thing. On a white wall, nicely shaven, well kept, look as though he had a facial. His suit was well put together, his shirt and his tie was white and his tie was well put together. He was able to do that from there. So people felt that they were dealing with a real person, a real CEO of a big corporation. And I think he changed his name from Thabo to Tom. All this went on for apparently a number of years. And in the investigation as to who this corpse was, they realized that Thabo actually faked a death and was out of prison. So naturally, there were many investigations happening around with the prison guards and everybody else. Somebody in there had to know what happened, right? I think 2 people got arrested and 5 of them got released from their jobs after this whole incident. It turned out there was a connection between him and this doctor, and that's where all of the funding was coming from for these big companies, these big businesses, and all the 9 yards. She abandoned her mansion because she had separated from the husband, divorced her husband, whatever it is, and tried to leave the state. I think to go over to Kenya or something like that. She was stopped. She left the Mercedes Benz there and walked back. Or she did it, I don't know. That's what I found out in my whole digging. And the investigation, that Mercedes Benz was on the lease, and the lease was not being paid for. I don't know why the money stopped or what happened. If something happened there, they hit a wall, whatever happened, because things happen when you're doing business, right? And I'm saying all this to say, this man lived free in the public for many years. They went out, they apparently had a good relationship. They were out together, shopping, doing things that a couple will do, and they were all over the place. He changed his hair, he wore sunglasses, no big disguise, but he was out there because, as far as everybody's concerned, he had passed away. So I'm saying all this to say, what I got out of all of this whole thing is that money and greed will make you do all kinds of stuff. There you are as a young, beautiful woman with a successful practice. Let's for being play devil's advocate and say that the marriage wasn't happy. So okay, fine. So that broke up. But you got your father to get involved with you to run the scam, to scam people out of millions of dollars in a business related kind of a scam thing. And you gave up your lucrative practice to be a partner with a criminal. Think about it. Think about it. Just think about it. Money and greed makes you do things that you normally would not do. We have to be careful and prioritize things because the world is so focused right now on money that people do all kinds of stuff, all this OnlyFans and stuff. It is because of money. I know there's some women who say, well, they have to raise their children and they don't have a choice. We all have choices in life. And all of these things that people are doing just to raise money is a lot of it is unnecessary. And I'm saying the love of money will be the death of a lot of people. Right now, she doesn't have a practice, and she's probably on her way to prison sometime in April. Here, she was caught and whatever happened. And her father, who's probably an elderly gentleman, to have a big daughter, a grown daughter like that. So they're not going to spend some time in prison. I think somebody else died somewhere along that in the whole fiasco too as well. So there might be some murder charges as well. And they are now on their way to prison when they could have lived a really good high society life. You're a doctor, you're making money, you live in a mansion. I mean, the sky's the limit. But because you wanted more quicker, it caused that to happen. We have to be careful who we align ourselves with. We have to make up our mind not to be swayed by every wind that blows. We have to know who we are. If we're sure who we are, then we really don't need to do some things like that. Right? I need money, but I am not going to harvest organs. I'm not going to do something illegal. I'm going to help a prisoner, a convicted murderer, and a rapist, right? Plus an embezzler, get out of prison just for me to have money. But I want to say something if I close off this broadcast. That the Bible also said that money answers all things. So we need money. But please, can we get away from all this get rich quick thing? All of this kind of hurry way to get things, all this microwave society we're living in, quick to make money and become an influencer and show your butt and show your bubs and your boobs and do things with yourself and pretend that you're trans and everything else just to be in the spotlight. We have to be careful because I'm almost certain, as I said to you, I don't know these people. I don't live anywhere near South Africa, as you would notice, as you would know. But I think that a lot of it came from the fact that maybe she didn't think she was getting rich quickly enough, and she wanted to move faster. We need to be careful who we align ourselves with. We don't need to do that kind of thing. We really don't need it. We don't. We don't need it. We don't. We don't need it. We need to be careful. We need to be careful. Okay? Watch yourself. Watch yourself. If you're like me and you believe in a life after, there are consequences to action. We will cause it karma. Some people say how you remember this tell us this is a children however you make up a bed, you will lie in it. Things will happen. There's always a consequence to every action. I came on here tonight, I pressed the button, and I will speak here. So please, people, be careful. Let's watch ourselves. Be careful who you align yourself with. It is not worth it in the end. It is not worth it in the end. Anything that's in the dark is going to come to light and people are going to find out about what you're doing. The authorities, even if it's how many years later, they're going to catch you. Just be careful. Okay? So until I chat again, maybe next Monday when Christine could have a chance to come in and we'll have another conversation about something that's happening in the world around us. Please like this video and subscribe. YouTube doesn't work unless people like and subscribe. I see viewers, and those viewers not liking the thing. If you like what I'm talking about, could you leave a comment so I could know what topics you would like Christine and I to talk about so we get our thing together? This is a genuine, coming from a genuine place where I really want to have a good YouTube channel to offer good content, offer good conversations that make sense, not sensationalism, not do clickbaits, not come up with things just because everybody's running after it. You know, I want to have a genuine channel. YouTube, please share my videos so that people can see that and like it, and I can build up my subscribers and build up my channel. I would love for that to happen. So like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you all again the next time. Take care now. Bye.